I have something on my mind today that sort of fits in the epiphany category, but not really. But I'll tell you what happened, and it's kind of like a little story first, and then I'll get into why this matters to me. But I have recently had an experience with someone who reached out to me um, via chat to ask me about providing a service for my online store, which I have had sitting on hiatus for a while because of all the personal family loss and grief that I've been going through, right? So I just kind of put the store on hold and said, I'll get to it when I get to it. It's not that serious. But because I had created a whole bunch of products in the store, I kind of, wanted to keep my store. I wanted to keep my products. So I just put it on hiatus. In the meantime, I have gotten contacted by like at least 5 or 6 or 7 messages, emails, and texts daily from people who do web services and whatnot for if you have a store. Like if you need your SEO optimization and all that kind of stuff done, and you need code written into your store and on the back end so that you can drive business to it, that kind of thing. And they're constantly reaching out to me, but I wasn't focused on the store, so I just was like, no, I don't want to be bothered. But yesterday, something new happened. Just got me rethinking my position on this. So, what has been happening in the last few days is that I got contacted by one particular person, and this is one of the rare times where I said, okay, sure, somebody will hit me up with, wanting to provide service, and they want to, do their pitch and all that. And so most of the time I just kind of blow them off because my mind is not there. I have been focused on, arranging funerals and dealing with grief and loss and all sorts of family drama. So my brain was not on my retail stores. Okay. But when I'm not focused on personal tragedy stuff, the business side of my brain is always working, and it's always open to any business opportunity when I'm not focused on personal drama. Okay. So for the last few years, there's been a lot of back-to-back personal drama, starting with the death of my daughter and ending most recently with the death of my mom. So it's just been a long process. So like I said, my brain was not on business because I didn't have very many opportunities to stop and think about anything except what I was going through. But when I do, I remember, and I make notes and stuff so that when I'm ready, I can get back to it. Anyway, I'm rambling. It's typical of me. But on to why this subject is interesting me enough to talk about it today. Now, I'm now 61 and I am effectively retired. Not technically 62. It's my actual retirement age date, which won't happen until next year, September. But I'm a year away from it. Been preparing for it. Anyway, that's what the stores are for. The stores are my, once I'm retired and not really needing or wanting to work anymore, I have to have something to keep me busy. Tina's just like that. I gotta. Because if I don't have something to keep my mind busy, my ADHD has me doing all kind of craziness. So, and yeah, okay. That's evidence right there of what I'm talking about. My WhatsApp is going stupid. And I keep getting hit up by these people like I said, they're web designers, they design stores, they do your SEO optimization, they do all of your back end on your websites and your stores to make them more visible and get more traffic. That's the whole point, right? And that's not what I'm a specialist in. I understand it, but I'm not a specialist. I don't know how to do that. I built my own websites, but when it comes to the online marketing and all that stuff, I need somebody to come in on the back end with, and take care of that. I'm aware that that's needed, which is what brings us to this current conversation, is being hit up constantly by people who want to offer me those services, and yet I have as yet taken up anyone's services. One, for my own reasons, like I said, personal stuff. But once I do want to focus on it, which I'm getting to, I'm getting to that point where I'm going to be ready to actually focus on it. Something just happened the other day that made me rethink this group of people who keep reaching out to me. Now, all of my adult working life, I have always had something on the side. Tina, I'm just that way. It goes back to my history. My dad, my grandpa, my mom, everyone always, always, always had something on the side. And I summed it up to my family, everybody got to have a side hustle. We just got to have a side hustle. That's just what we are, those people. My grandfather, back in 1920, when we were just entering the Great Depression, he, in the small town that he lived in on the island in South Carolina, he came up with the idea that, I got a truck and a lot of people got trash that needs to be picked up. So he created a route of people that he would go through the neighborhood and pick up their trash. Eventually, he became the trash man. And he did this with his own truck for years before the city went, hey, I think we need to implement a whole department that does this. So the city decided to take over what he used to do as his side hustle. But my grandpa was that person who believed in being an independent thinker and don't follow the crowd. He did not follow the pack. He never did. And he believed in working for yourself. And so he did. He never actually held a job for anybody else. He never worked for anybody else but himself. And he came up with all these real cool, interesting ways, inventive, ingenious ways to make money legally. And of course, that same thinking was passed on to his kids and eventually his grandchildren, me. And so I've always had something on the side, something. I don't care what it is. I just never was comfortable with one paycheck. I always felt like you can't rely on your job, because I saw too many people, end up getting fired because the company's downsizing, or we're going out of business, or whatever their reasons is. Your job is gone, and now you just look up one day and go, I got 2 weeks to figure out what I'm gonna do for money going forward, because I just got cut loose. Well, I was always afraid that was going to happen, and so to protect from that happening, I always had some extra going on all the time. That brings me to these people who keep emailing me and messaging me and texting me and WhatsApping me and calling me and asking me if I want to hire them to work on my store, my online store. And I'm going, eventually, after having babies and being married in the 80s and subsequently divorced, in 2000, which happened to a lot of us who got married when we shouldn't have. But anyway, with my mentality of always having something on the side and then finding myself a single mom, divorced, and I was one of them independent thinking women back in 2000 who said, I ain't trying to deal with you no more. No, I don't want your child support or your alimony. Bye. That was me, right? Because he was such a fucking headache. Excuse my language, but I'm just gonna be real about it. He was a headache and a half. I'm not gonna lie. Um, and so I didn't want to be bothered. You know, when you're facing divorce, the last thing you want to do is something that's gonna make you have to deal with this person that you're trying to get away from. You know, I was not hearing it. I was not hearing it. So for me, give me a full-time job, give me a couple of side hustles, I'm straight. So that's who I am. And I always had a side hustle. So I understand the mentality of being self-employed, and I understand the drive and determination it takes to reach out to people who don't know you and offer your services, because that's what I do. I've done that for years because Tina don't have one source of income ever. It's not going to happen. I'm not comfortable without it. And because extra income on the side, having a side hustle has always been my mentality. I kind of, appreciate people and can respect people who, are, going for it. They're taking care of their own business and they're doing what they got to do. I appreciate people like that because I am one. However, I stumbled across a situation the other day. It was my birthday. I just turned 61, so I was, feeling real. I was feeling my age, not in a bad way, but in a good way. And I was really celebrating the fact that, I'm still here. Because, a lot of people I know are not. That's been my emotional upheavals for the past 10 years, is losing people. Boom, 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 just back to back. It starts to take a toll, right? So I'm sitting here on my birthday really appreciating the fact that I'm still here, and it's not bad, right? I'm just having a moment. I like the black and white filter, by the way, but it's just me. Anyway, my point is, I was really enjoying my birthday that day, but I was really feeling all the years I've lived and all the different things I've done, and how much I feel like it's time for me to go ahead and tell that story, write that book, blog it out, you know what I mean? Because it's time. You got a head full of knowledge and years of wisdom to impart to somebody. So get on it, girlfriend, right? That's what's going on in my head. So I'm sitting here in this conversation with this young man who, for some odd reason, I decided to go ahead and respond to his inquiry, his request for me to consider him to take care of my store. Mainly, he was offering SEO optimization services and back office stuff that has to do with coding and on a website and driving traffic and that type of thing. So that all of that, once again, that's not my strong point. I do not do that. Okay, so I need that. I know I need it. I just wasn't focusing because I wasn't ready to just jump right in there right this moment. But he happened to hit me up. So I was like, your timing is good. What do you do? Talk to me. What do you need? So we get into this conversation, and I start to not feel comfortable because I'm just getting some red flags, some of those caution things. It's like, hey, why does he sound like he may not be legit? Because he started pressuring me about payment. And I immediately, being the youngest of the boomers, oldest of the Gen X people, I was here when the internet got started back in 1997 when I first logged on AOL, and there was no such thing as the World Wide Web. There was just the AOL portal. That's how long I've been online. So with my history of being online since like the very beginning, I mean, I was literally Morena before Google was a thought in those guys' minds. Just no lie. I was Morena when we had to use a disk to put in the computer to log into AOL, their software, so that you could check your email and read what was in the news and instant message chat with people. I was online when it was that new. Okay? That was back in 1996 when I got my first computer. So, yeah, I've been around for a while, especially when it comes to the internet. Now, I know you might be listening to this going, what the hell does any of this have to do with what the fuck, bitch? Right? Okay, I know. And it's just my way of telling a story because I have ADHD. Let's just go ahead and get over it. I'm gonna mention it a few times because the way I communicate is a little bit different sometimes. So I tend to either repeat myself or I go way too fast and then I have to back up and explain. So that's just how I am. So let's just, what does this have to do with anything is what you're trying to say? Well, here's the thing. I started off talking about the fact that I've always had a side hustle. So I get the mentality. I've also just cleared up that I have been on the internet since it was the internet. I also said that I am 61. So let's put all that together. It gives you an idea where my brain starts processing when I think business, especially if you add a business degree, business administration, business management degree to my brain. And then let me start processing. So I immediately wanted this guy to show me what he's done, and you want to sell me your services. So what have you done? Well, somehow this conversation, me trying to find out more about who was offering their services and him trying to tell me, to reassure me that he could do what he said he could do, it was a total disconnect for like 2 days. Okay, this went on for 2 days. It started on my birthday and rolled into yesterday evening when I finally just said, okay, you know what? I'm not comfortable and I'm not going to do business with you because of a number of different things I've already said. I'll just go with Shopify Partners. But thank you. You have a good day. Thank you so much for offering your services to me, but I'm good. Okay? I thought I was done with the conversation. No, I wasn't done. I thought I was. But I wasn't done. Well, like I said, I thought I was done. Not done. Not done. I get a WhatsApp message with a request to speak from the CEO of this young man's media company. And I'm like, okay, it's not that serious, but sure, let's talk. What? I explained why I had a problem, and let him know that I have decided I'm not going to do business with your media company. Thank you very much for taking your time to talk to me, but I've decided I'm not going to, and here's my reasons why. But thank you very, very much. I wish you guys all the luck in the world. Bye. Okay, I thought I was done. This was all on a phone call, and then I followed it up with an actual on WhatsApp text comment. So I can, screenshot just in case. Glad I did that because I needed that screenshot today. So I get a message this morning asking why he hasn't heard from me since they sent over the invoice that I requested. And I'm thinking, who the hell am I talking to? Because I could have swore we covered this yesterday. So I asked him. I said, well, I already covered that with so-and-so. You need to, refer to him. He said, oh, I did. And I did. He told me to talk to you. He told me what you said, and he even I even give him a screenshot and said, "You need to talk to him." Because no, he said he did, and I said, and he said I did talk to him. He says he told me that he talked to you and what you guys talked about, and he said I should follow up. And I'm like, but I told him that's not what I said. Okay, that's inaccurate. So I screenshot what I actually said and sent it to him. And he says, yes, I understand. And I'm like, okay, so why are we talking today? He says, well, I really, really, really want you I want you to understand that, I really, I do know what I'm doing, and I'm not trying to scam you. And I said, well, I told him why I feel the way I do and why I've elected not to do business with you. So I don't understand why you're reaching out again. Huh? So after going around in circles a few times with this guy, it finally occurs to me why we're having a problem. So I had to ask him. I said, it only occurred to me after I asked a couple of specific questions. Number one, you do speak and understand English, right? He says, yeah, of course. I'm like, okay, because I wasn't sure. And secondly, you did say you went to college. He says, yes. I'm like, okay. So if you went to college and you understand English and you speak it and all that, I don't understand why you're not comprehending what I'm saying to you. It is not about the payment. The payment isn't a problem. The problem I have is with your professionalism and your presentation isn't giving me what I asked for. I asked for information. I asked for references. I asked for your business information, and you have yet provided me with any of that, which makes me doubt your legitimacy as an actual operating business. It sort of sounds like you're trying to scam me to get me to send you money. And I've explained this 2 or 3 times, and somehow you're not understanding. So he says, but I sent you everything. I sent you our website, and I sent you, our social media profiles and everything. And I told you, I said, okay, first of all, I asked for references for clients you've run previous business with, and you gave me your website. What you gave me wasn't sufficient. And because everything you've given me has been insufficient, I haven't been able to make a decision as to whether I want to hire you to do what you want to do. So I've already explained this a number of different ways, and I'm not quite understanding why you don't get it. Everything you have done makes it seem like you are a scammer who's trying to get money out of me. And you're not understanding what I'm trying to say. And so I'm trying to, and I had to stop for a minute and go, wait a minute, wait, hold up, Tina. Hold up. How old did you say you were? I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but how old did you say you were? 22. Oh, shit. Okay. I just figured out what my problem is. I suddenly realized that I am a born in 1963 baby boomer / Gen Xer. And I'm talking to a 22-year-old Gen Zer. The language is different. The verbiage is different. The thought process is different. The reasoning and the rationale is different because the world is different. Okay, Tina, you're going to have to reframe what you're saying to this young man because he is not getting it. You're talking in boomer language and he don't understand boomer. And you're one of the few boomers who understands Gen Z. So step back, let's regroup. Okay, step back, let's regroup because I think I figured out what the problem is. So I had to sum up the whole conversation with this. Okay, I feel like I'm talking to my nephew who just graduated high school or who just finished college and is standing here looking at me with his degree in his hand and wanting to know, Auntie, what do I do next? That's what I feel like I'm talking to right now. So it just occurred to me. My business administration, business management trained mind is talking to a young man who was born in 2002, when the internet was just a normal part of our lives. I'm talking to somebody who doesn't understand the long, hard road to get to where you need to be. I'm talking to someone who went to high school and was able to use scientific calculators in their math class. I'm talking to somebody who does not know what 3 times 3 times 3 is. Or use a bunch of it like, 5